Hello, everybody. Jennifer Lee Chen here from NBC Sports Bay Area, and it has happened. Dre Greenlaw has signed or will sign a 3-year, $35 million deal with the Denver Broncos, and he will be joined by Talanoa Hufanga, who also signed a 3-year deal, $45 million with the Denver Broncos. So, two of the guys that kind of have been the heartbeat of the 49ers defense, along with, of course, Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. Those guys move on to new teams. Or a new team. A lot of guys have agreed to other deals. Obviously, nothing's completely official until the new league year starts and those documents are signed. But as of right now, Dre Greenlaw, no longer with the 49ers. He will join the Denver Broncos. And I think a 3-year, $35 million deal is too much for what the 49ers can afford. I don't know, but I'm betting they probably were thinking 2 years. They don't want to get bid again by a guy who is injured. Same thing for Talanoa Hufanga. I wasn't surprised at the rest of the signings, but the Dre Greenlaw one came a little bit later. Kind of left everybody with a little hope that maybe they could get something done. But the free agent market for linebackers has been buzzing, and linebackers are getting paid a lot of money. And the 49ers, while they're going to spend money on Brock Purdy and potentially Joey Bosa, there is as John Lynch said, recalibration. They can't keep throwing money at all the free agents because of the fact that Brock Purdy's impending contract is going to be very pricey. And what I'm hearing is it's not from ownership. It's not about the desire or lack of desire to spend money. It is not because they're selling part of the stakes in the company to purchase another sports team. It is not about that at all. It is about the salary cap. And yes, they were under the salary cap in 2024, but all of the money that they've pushed ahead, yes, the cap will go up and they can stay under it, but Brock Purdy's money is going to hit at some point, and it is going to take a huge chunk out of that salary cap, and so they need to be prepared for it. So there is some room to do some moves, like potentially Joey Bosa, but I thought they were maybe able to squeeze in Dre Greenlaw as well as Joey Bosa, but it looks like that is not the case. So day one of official early negotiating period, these are the moves that the 49ers have made. Obviously, Dre Greenlaw goes to the Denver Broncos, 3 years for $35 million. Talanoa Hufanga also goes to the Denver Broncos, 3 years, $45 million. All these contracts are very rich, and they are not signings that the 49ers, I think, could manage with the situation of Brock Purdy coming up. All right. Offensive linemen got paid. And I think this says something about what the 49ers do with on the offensive line. I know that, a lot of you have commented that the 49ers offensive line is horrible and that they can't protect Brock Purdy. He was running around for his life. But when you look at what the other 31 teams believe or see from the 49ers offensive line, they're paying them huge dollars. So I don't think it matters whether the fans think that Brock Purdy has great protection from his offensive line or not. The other 31 teams think that he does. So, Jaylon Moore goes to the Chiefs, 2 years for $30 million. It's great for a swing tackle. I mean, he stepped in when Trent Williams was hurt last year. He played really well. So, he got a good contract. I mean, that's a guy who has not been a solid starter. He's been a good solid start, swing tackle, stepped in for Trent Williams, but not like a long career so far of starting. Aaron Banks, though, started at left guard for a long time next to Trent Williams, and he gets a 4-year, $77 million deal with the Packers. Pretty crazy. Jaylon Moore is going to the Chiefs, so he is going to probably be left tackle, protecting Patrick Mahomes. 2-year deal only, so he has the option to get out a little bit earlier, test the market again if he'd like. Um, so Aaron Banks, Packers, 4 years, $77 million. Elijah Mitchell heads over to the Chiefs with Jaylon Moore. He's on just a 1-year deal, $3.5 million. He's been injured so much during the 49ers stint with him, but his potential is huge. So probably a low risk deal for the Chiefs. And if he can play and stay healthy, it's a great deal for him. The Chiefs have a lot of 49ers players over there. Not only has it been from the past, Jerick McKinnon, it's DJ, or No, sorry, that was the Chiefs. But there's a lot of players going to the Denver Broncos. So Elijah Mitchell goes to Chiefs with Jaylon Moore. So there's quite a few 49ers players over there. But Denver. So it is Dre Greenlaw, it's Talanoa Hufanga and DJ Jones. Quite a few guys over there. This one also, a little sentimental about this one. Charvarius Ward goes to the Colts. It's a 3-year, $60 million deal. There's no way the 49ers could afford a 3-year, $60 million deal. They've got Renardo Green. They planned ahead. They paid Deommodore Lenoir a huge contract. So I kind of knew that Charvarius Ward was going to head somewhere else closer to home. His home is in Dallas, Texas. The mother of his children, his girlfriend, traumatized by going to California, everything that happened with Amani Joy. And he posted a great photo recently of him and his son. So happy for them and the new addition. But losing Amani Joy, just everything what happened. I'm so thankful for Charvarius Ward sharing that story with me because I know it was a challenge. And I'm honored that I was the first person that he told. I kind of waited outside the locker room for him. PR was telling me how he's coming, and he had another interview. And I said, okay, what has changed? It was like week 7 of 2023. I'm like, something's changed with you. Something's clicked, and he was playing lights out. He was leading the league in pass breakups, and you could tell there was just light inside of him. And he told me the story about how Amani Joy had started reacting and playing and laughing with him and how it changed his life. So it's no wonder that he had a challenging year in 24 when she was unwell and she was going to medical professionals and then ultimately, unfortunately, passed away during the season. Just heartbreaking loss for them, but so happy for them that they have a new addition, a son. And I'm sure he said he wants to have more children. So just happy for Charvarius Ward and his family, and he'll be closer to home in Indianapolis. Uh, Joshua Dobbs heads to the Pats. He goes to New England, 2 years, $8 million, to be there. I think he's a player that did well when he had his chance with the 49ers, and he's a guy that, he can play. I think 2 years, maybe he'll um, get a little bit more time under one system, more reps. He'll get to start. He'll get the reps, the number one reps in training camp and OTAs, all of that. So he'll have more of a chance to acclimate to a new system. Um, so, yeah. One thing I want to say, though, kind of following up again on the offensive line, the 49ers offensive line, when they leave the 49ers, get paid in huge sums of money. So, not Aaron Banks, 4 years, $77 million. Jaylon Moore, 2 years, $30 million. Laken Tomlinson, 3 years, $40 million. Mike McGlinchey, 5 years, $87.5 million. And Trent Brown, 4 years, $66 million. So you look at all those offensive linemen, and while, I think everybody wants to point to the offensive line when something doesn't go wrong on the offense. And yes, it's kind of a thankless job. It's no one ever says they're doing such a great job, or rarely. And then anytime, you could have 66 great plays, one mistake, and everybody's going to point out that one mistake. It's just kind of the nature of playing offensive linemen. And, they get a bad rap sometimes, but you look across the league and how many 49ers offensive linemen are on other teams making tons of money really says they're doing a much better job than what I think the fan base perceives. Just food for thought. All right, so the 49ers re-signed Patrick Taylor. He was fifth on the depth chart in 24 in the running as a running back behind Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, Jordan Mason, Isaac Rendo, Patrick Taylor. He's a bigger back, taller, should be a guy who they could use on third downs if, Christian McCaffrey isn't out there. Um, Good guy, good special teams guy, and that's something they need to focus on. They need to get back to special teams. The biggest signing of the day, though, is Luke Farrell. So Luke Farrell is a tight end. He spent his first 4 years with Jacksonville, and let me just pull up his numbers here. Um, Big deal, and it was, surprising. And what it says is that he is going to be very involved. They find him very valuable. 3-year contract worth $20.25 million dollars with 11 million guaranteed. I looked back at all the other free agent tight ends that they've signed, $1 to $2 million for 1 or 2 years. Um, Garrett Selleck was probably the biggest contract. That's a second contract that was done with the 49ers on a tight end, and it was, $2 to $4 million. So Luke Farrell becomes the second highest paid tight end in 49ers history. And I think it's because how involved he will be as a blocking tight end. He is a blocking tight end. He doesn't have a lot of receptions. I spoke to Jeff Deeney, who is our PFF guru, and here's what he said about him. He said, stays in the pass block quite a bit. 32.2% of the time last year, he was in for pass blocking, near the top for tight ends. His 82.6 pass blocking grade was second best amongst qualifying tight ends. So, I mean, that's second best. That's really good. 61.9 run blocking grade was tied for 27th out of 83 tight ends. Only 46 targets in 4 seasons, 36 catches for 318 yards, no touchdowns. Now, he does not line up in the backfield, but he is a very good blocker. I think it's a huge upgrade. Obviously, it's an upgrade in pay from what Eric Saubert was making. Obviously, I think they're going to move on from him with this signing. But I think he's a guy who's going to be quickly involved. And just by the pay, you can tell that they highly value what he can do as a blocker. So they could change their personnel. It could be one running back and two tight ends, as opposed to two backs and one tight end on the offense. And I'm sure Kyle Shanahan is kind of scheming up ways already. It may change how they go with that number 11 pick. Tyler Warren may not be there. His draft stock is rising. So they secure a tight end with Luke Farrell, and that also opens up George Kittle to be able to run free and be a target for Brock Purdy, as opposed to having him have to be in there for as a blocker. Of course, he's going to block. He's one of the best at it. But now with Luke Farrell, he's got some support there. So that's what's happened on day one of free agency. And I'm sure we'll have more updates for you as soon as they come. But that's it for now. And I'll talk to you soon. And yes, I'm with you on the whole Dre Greenlaw thing. All right, everybody, hang in there. Got a few more days to go until we get through this whole free agency thing. Talk to you soon.